In my younger days as a health fraud investigator, there was a core principle that gives us the answer to any puzzle involving human being. That principle is to follow the buck to find the dirt. So to help you discern who are the thieves and who aren't, I've put a little video together to help you. In this video, we will examine the net worth of the top 5 presidential breadwinners while in office and one big loser. The presidents who experienced the largest increases in income during or after their presidency, based on available data, are listed below in ascending order. Number 5, Joe Biden. Joe Biden is a lifelong politician. After college, he worked as a lawyer for a few years, but never really made more than a middle-class lifestyle. Then in 1972, Joe Biden was elected as a U.S. Senator for Delaware from January 3, 1973 to January 15, 2009. He was re-elected 6 times, making him 66 years old, when most retire. But that was just the start of the political money train for Biden. That same year, he was elected vice president under Barack Obama, which he served until 2017, when he was 75 years old. After his vice presidency, Biden became a presidential practice professor, whatever that is, at the University of Pennsylvania, where he led the Penn Biden Center for Diplomacy and Global Engagement. Then on January 20th, 2021, Biden was inaugurated as the 46th President of the United States. So from 29 years old until today, at 82 years old, Joe Biden was a politician except for 4 years while he was a professor. Biden, however, wasn't quite as sharp at making money as the Clintons. At the end of his vice presidency in 2017, Biden's net worth was estimated to be near zero due to high liabilities offsetting his assets. However, his financial situation significantly improved after leaving office. Biden and his wife Jill earned roughly $15 million from 2017 to 2019 after he left the office of the vice president. As of now, Biden's net worth is estimated to be between $9 million and $13 million, so politics was very good to Joe. Number 4, Richard Nixon also did pretty good from his stint in the White House. He was born on January 9, 1913. He went to college to become a lawyer and then served in the Navy for 4 years. Nixon was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives and served for 3 years until 1950. Then he served in the U.S. Senate for 3 years, 1950 to 1953. Nixon then became Vice President of the United States under President Dwight D. Eisenhower from 1953 to 1961 and was inaugurated as the 37th President of the United States on January 20, 1969. He resigned in shame on August 8, 1974, amid the Watergate scandal which was unfolding during Nixon's re-election campaign. The break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters at the Watergate complex in Washington, D.C., occurred on June 17, 1972, just a few months before the presidential election in November. Is anyone but me noticing a pattern of scandals that seem to occur just before election time? Did Nixon really orchestrate this break-in, or was it a setup by the other side? In spite of the Watergate smear, Richard Nixon was re-elected for a second term in 1972. He defeated Democratic nominee George McGovern in a landslide victory, winning 49 out of the 50 states in the Electoral College. History will repeat itself once Donald Trump is elected a second term as a convicted felon. The people can see through it this time, though. You might not know that rumor has it that Nixon was promised the presidency on a handshake at Bohemian Grove, and poof, he got it. At number 3, the Bush family did quite well in their political stints. George H.W. Bush and George W. Bush came from oil money. The Bush family's initial wealth was built in the oil industry. Prescott Bush, the family patriarch, was involved in the oil business in the early 20th century. The elder Bush later became a U.S. Senator representing Connecticut. The Bush family was also adept at investments and finance. Over the years, the Bush family has been involved in various investment ventures and financial institutions. This includes investments in real estate, banking, and other business ventures. Many members of the Bush family have served in public office, including as governors, senators, and presidents. Public service has provided opportunities for networking and business connections, which has made them even more money. Before his presidency, George H.W. Bush was worth $4 million. After his presidency, he was worth $23 million, increasing his net worth by $19 million. Apparently, Daddy Bush taught his son George W. well because he was worth $20 million before his presidency, and he has doubled that to a cool $40 million, netting $20 million more. Number 2. Barack Obama. When Obama graduated from Harvard Law School in 1991, he worked as a community organizer, a civil rights attorney, and a law professor. Before entering politics in 1996, Barack Obama's net worth was relatively modest. During this period, he worked as a community organizer, a civil rights attorney, and a law professor. His financial situation was typical of a professional in those fields, but far from making him a millionaire. In 1991, after graduating from Harvard Law School, Obama returned to Chicago, where he joined the law firm Davis, Minor, Barnhill, and Galland. He also lectured at the University of Chicago Law School. His income of less than $500,000 during this period came from these jobs and the modest advance in royalties from his first book, Dreams from My Father, published in 1995. The book had very limited sales, and he had no substantial earnings from it until its re-release in 2004. From 1997 to 2008, Barack Obama first served as state and then U.S. Senator. When Barack Obama became president in January 2009, his estimated net worth was between $1 million and $5 million. When Barack and Michelle Obama left the White House in January 2017, their net worth was estimated to be around $40 million, so that's a cool $35 to $39 million from side gigs while serving as president. But the money didn't stop there. Today, the Obamas are worth $70 million living the life of the elite. The number one profiteer from his presidency was no other than Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton is considered the wealthiest living president and among the top 10 all-time wealthiest since his wife ran for president twice and was also Secretary of State. Her contributions to the wealth of this power couple can't be ignored. Before Bill Clinton became governor of Arkansas in 1979, he and Hillary were not particularly wealthy. Both were lawyers, but their combined net worth was probably only a few $100,000 at best. They had law school debts, but were living a middle-class lifestyle. Clinton served as the governor of Arkansas for 5 non-consecutive terms, from 1979 to 1981 and 1983 to 1992. When Bill Clinton entered the White House in 1993, he and Hillary Clinton had a net worth estimated to be between $700,000 and $1.5 million. So they made a nice bump in net worth after serving as governor, but they hadn't hit the big time yet. It's the White House that gives you power. The Clintons left the White House on January 20th, 2001. After serving 8 years as the President of the United States, the Clintons walked out of the White House worth $10 million to $15 million. For 7 years, there was not a Clinton in government until Hillary ran against Barack Obama for the Democratic presidential nomination in the 2008 United States presidential election. Hillary lost, but some kind of deal was made because on January 21st, 2009, Barack Obama appointed Hillary to the high position of Secretary of State, which she served until February 2013, when she resigned shortly after President Barack Obama's second inauguration. At that time, her and Bill Clinton's combined net worth had jumped to between $20 million and $70 million. That huge increase occurred from side gigs while she was serving as Secretary of State and traveling the world meeting wealthy and powerful people. Where do I get a gig like that? After leaving the office of Secretary of State, Hillary remained active in politics, but neither her or Bill were holding a position of power. In 2015, when she ran against Donald Trump for President of the U.S., Hillary and Bill Clinton's combined net worth was estimated to be much lower, between $30 million and $45 million. So when they were both out of office, their reported income from speaking engagements, books, and other income had apparently dropped by half. But that's not all. Since Bill was publicly shamed and Hillary became a 2-time presidential loser, their books, speaking engagements, and other investments jumped once again all the way to their current net worth of between $120 to $190 million. So they jumped onto a money train after Trump got into office, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was the Destroy Trump money train, considering she paid for the Steele dossier to use against Trump. So now you have it. It's pretty clear these days that winning a presidential election can be very lucrative and set you up for life with obscene wealth. I can't help but wonder if we aren't attracting greedy people who care more about their own well-being than that of our country and her citizens. Now that we have seen the presidents who made the most money by being president, let's look at the biggest presidential loser. Do you know who it is? If you said Donald Trump, you got it! When Donald Trump took office in 2017, his net worth was estimated at around $3.5 billion. However, by the time he left office in 2021, his net worth had decreased to approximately $2.4 billion, which means that Trump left the White House $1.1 billion poorer than when he became president. People like to blame this on damage to his brand and bad business dealing. But if this were true, why didn't Donald Trump accept his $400,000 salary for serving as president? Rather than using his salary to maintain his wealth, Trump and Melania chose to donate his annual presidential salary of $400,000 to various government departments and initiatives throughout his term. You heard that right. Trump actually gave away about $1.6 million to the U.S. government to prop up government programs that others have bankrupted. Now he is being prosecuted over a $130,000 payment to a porn star. This minutia pales to the crimes of other select politicians and what Trump has done to help this country. During his presidency, Trump made quarterly donations to different agencies, including the Department of Health and Human Services, the National Park Service, the Department of Veterans Affairs, and others. Each donation was typically $100,000, reflecting his quarterly salary. Yet the media has tried to convince the people that Trump is the criminal. Herbert Hoover was a wealthy businessman before becoming president and donated his salary to charity throughout his presidency. He also donated his salary while serving as Secretary of Commerce. Hoover only served one term as president. Coincidentally, the stock market crash of 1929 occurred just months after he took office, leading to widespread economic hardship across the country. Does this scenario sound familiar? An economic hardship occurs during a president's tenure? Would a pandemic be considered a hardship? You betcha. The third president who didn't take his presidential salary was John F. Kennedy, from the affluent Kennedy family, who donated his presidential salary to various charities. He also donated his salary from his time as a U.S. Senator. John F. Kennedy was murdered because he couldn't be controlled. There have allegedly been quite a few attempts on Donald Trump's life also. These presidents are unique in their decision to forego their salaries, redirecting the funds to charitable causes or governmental functions instead. This act of donating their salaries is a true reflection of their commitment to public service. I learned something a long time ago. Money is not evil, but it is the root of all evil. The other thing I learned was to follow the buck to find the dirt. If you ever have a question determining if someone is good or bad, all you have to do is follow the buck. It never fails because it takes a lot of money to sell your soul. So open your eyes and stop letting people warp your mind. I have always believed that the only way to ensure an honest politician is if they are too rich to be bought. Just assume that it is possible that the elite of the world have become so powerful that they control critical parts of our government. I understand that it's a difficult concept to believe, but if that should happen, there is only one way to gain control of your government back, and that's to put a wealthy patriot in office that can't be bought. You've got the numbers. You have seen who have made millions from their years as President of the United States. We are supposed to believe that people who made nothing before they became politicians all of a sudden gained such business acumen in the 4 or 8 years that they were supposed to be running our country. What do you think? Did these ex-presidents really have our best interest in mind, or were they out for the money? You tell me, and if you like my videos, please like and share them with others. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss my regular videos on all kinds of interesting subjects to keep you healthy through these times. Until next time, always follow the buck.